Good afternoon everyone, welcome to another video. Today I am making my way to the Devil's Den. This is a little Neolithic I think it is, little stone den of sorts. I believe it's a burial ground, or was a burial ground, but it's in the middle of a bunch of fields, and I thought I would take a little trip down there. Now, for you that have seen previous videos, you know that I have recently got a film camera, and today that is the entirety of my bag. So I've got just the film camera and my digital camera, but not to take shots on my digital camera. So the idea is to go down and take some shots. Right, so I've made it to the Devil's Den. So for today's video, I'm going to be using this, which is my new, old Yashica Mat 24G. It's a 6x6 medium format camera. It is fully manual, with a slight exception that it's got a light meter, but other than that, there is nothing electronic in it at all. I've used one roll of film already, and that was just to get an idea of how to use it and figure out whether or not it works, and I'm glad to say it does. I even managed to develop those films myself, but the plan is to take some shots of this thing, which is going to be fun. So I'm going to get it set up. The plan will be to take maybe 4 shots of this and whatever else I can figure out. I've got a few compositions that I've taken a look at and I think might work. And you'll have to excuse the wind. I don't think this is going to let up. So worst case is I do a voiceover for it. But the idea is this is going to be a series of videos in that all 12 shots will be taken over the course of maybe 3-4 videos, pushing it. And then the last one in the series will be me going through and developing it. The idea is that you're going to be coming along with me on this journey of using a film camera, which is different. It's the same but different. I've never used a film camera before other than the standard sort of point and clicks. I've never messed around with a medium format for a start, and film camera is, yeah, it's all brand new to me. So what I was thinking of doing is, because I want you to come along on the journey with me, and this is the start of the series, I'm not going to be posting any shots that I take with this camera. What I will do is right at the very end, I'll give it maybe 20-30 seconds after the video's finished, and there I will take a shot on my digital camera, the exact same shots, using a 50mm, which is the equivalent to an 80mm on a medium format camera, and that'll give you an idea of what the shot is that I've taken. So for those who like spoilers, consider that your spoiler. For everyone else who wants to join me on the journey and work out how to use this and what to do, and wait until the very end to figure out whether or not I've actually done anything worthwhile, just skip that last bit. Right, so for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little wander around, work out a couple of compositions, and then I will talk you through each of them. All right, back in a moment. My first composition, what I've done here is I've steered away from the obvious shot, which is getting up close and sort of getting the stones in as the main focal point. And instead what I'm doing is I've found a lot of these little thistles growing a little way from the stones themselves. And the idea is that I'm going to use these as almost like a lead in to the stone itself. So I'm going to have the stones in focus, and then that focus is going to drop off. So the idea is that it'll be out of focus at the bottom of the frame, and then as you get towards the stones themselves, it will actually become in focus. And then you've got the fields in the background, and one of the fields at the moment is turning, so it's like this golden orangey brown. So I'm hoping that makes the stones stand out. What I'm doing at the moment is the clouds, for you it's not so bad, but I've got a great big patch of blue sky over that way. What I'm doing is I'm waiting for that to just shift so that I've got more of the clouds behind the stones, and then hopefully that's going to make it look a little more interesting, the top half of the image. Now, as I mentioned, nothing on this is electric except for the light meter, and on these particular cameras the batteries that they used to use don't exist anymore. So the battery I'm using is a slightly different voltage, which means it gives it a slightly odd reading. So I have a Sekonic light meter. This one is typically used for doing photography shoots, so like indoor with lighting rigs and things like that. It should still give me an idea of what the light is doing, but the problem is normally you would put this up against the model or something that you are taking a picture of. Now I can't be in two places at once, but that is where this comes in handy. Now, as I mentioned, this is only going to be used to take a shot for all of you that want spoilers. The only other reason I'm using this is just to gauge what the exposure should be according to this, and then I'm going to use it on that. Thankfully, and just to cover all bases, I've got a light meter app on my phone, which thankfully is matching what's on the camera and on the light meter as well. So I think I'm pretty much covered in all bases. So what I'll do is I'll take that shot, and I won't stick it up on screen for you because we're not going to do it like that this time. But like I said, for those who want spoilers, it'll be right at the very, very end. Let's take the shot and let's move on to another composition. Okay, so that's the first shot done. Hoping that's going to be all right. It's a bit difficult with the clouds obscuring the sun. So I've tried to time it when I think it was the right time. So what I've done is I did it at an aperture of f11, shutter speed of 2/50th of a second, and this is already, and because of the film, this is set to ISO 100 or ASA 100 on this camera. So hopefully that one's come out all right. Next shot is going to be slightly, I think this is probably one of those go-to shots that most people do when they come here. But basically I'm up close and personal to the stones themselves, and through the gap of the stones, what you can see is a barn. So what I'm trying to do is fill the frame and then focus on that barn. So you get an idea of the stone around it, and then through the center of it you can see this barn. So I'm going to try and get that set up. I'm going to go for I might go for some shallower depth of field on this, but we'll see what it looks like. With the sun being obscured at the moment, I might just do that because it's a little bit darker. Other than that, there's not really much to it. It's just point at the barn, make sure that that's in focus, and take the shot. What I will try and do is, for what I can see in the gap, I will try and make sure that there's at least a bit of drama with what clouds you can see, and maybe get a little bit of light on the barn so it just brings that out a bit more than normal. But yeah, I will take this shot, and it's time to move on and find another one. Okay, so this is shot number 3. I've gone round a different side, or to the side of it, and what I'm trying to do is get this as the main focal point, and then the fields behind. I don't know if this is going to work in camera or not, but when you look at the stones and then you look at the field behind it, you've got these lines where the tractors go up, and the way the light's hitting the field is just absolutely stunning. I'm just hoping that all of that sort of translates on the camera. I'm not 100% sure. The other thing I'm trying to do is I'm putting the stones in the sort of the bottom half of the frame, and then trying to give it a bit more sky, so at least if the field behind doesn't look particularly good, then at least I might be able to get a bit of drama in the sky as well. So fingers crossed that all comes out. What I'm having to do, there's a whole bunch of darker clouds over that direction, and I'm just going to wait for them to move along. As soon as they do, I'm going to try and do an exposure reading, and then I'm going to take the shot. Hopefully that all comes together. What I'm trying to do with this is, because there's more sky than ground, is I'm trying to balance the exposure. So I've gone 60th of a second at f22, and I'm hoping, sorry, 1 second. Shot done. Hopefully, with the clouds in the background, that came out okay. So that's shot number 3. Shot number 4, I don't think is going to be this. On the way in, I seen a massive stone, which I'm guessing is all part of the same group of stones that they've used many, many years ago. And there's a nice little crack in that line, a bit like the limestone paths up in Yorkshire. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pack up for now, and I head back the way I came, and I'm going to have a look at this rock and then take a shot of that, because that leads to the field behind, which I think, if I can get it right, will look really nice. That's the Devil's Den. For now, that has been done. Okay, so that didn't work. The focal length was all wrong, so it was just too close. I couldn't quite get everything in the shot. So I couldn't get the whole of the rock, and I couldn't get the field behind it in. So I've left that, and what I'll do is I will call it a video. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, give a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. And if you're feeling generous, drop us a subscribe as well. And as mentioned, for those who like spoilers, keep watching. There'll be a few shots up at the end just so that you can see what the film shots are potentially going to look like. So I'll catch you all on the next video. Take care, keep safe guys. All right, bye.